John Razimus here. Thank you for watching. This is just an update video. I'm not even using my mic because it's a lot of work to edit and recompile. It literally takes a long time. But I'm working on a Tommy Wiseau investigation I did a couple years ago. I did it 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And I focus on paranormal investigations and not pop culture, but occasionally, you gotta get into that. And Tommy Wiseau is most definitely paranormal. He's a cool guy. I'm a huge fan. The Room inspired so many genres, specifically comedy. Tommy Wiseau accidentally created a genre of comedy, which Tim and Eric borrowed from, ripped off from. Tommy noticed, hey, the sound is bad in every scene. We're going to have to dub every single scene in the movie. And that's why the movie's so funny. It's the subtle thing people don't notice. But when the lips don't match the dubbing, hi, how's it going? Even slightly, the brain notices, whether you notice or not. It's the reason why poorly dubbed samurai kung fu movies are hilarious. How's it going? But in Tommy Wiseau, it's more subtle, because they tried their best to match the lips, but it still resulted in being hilarious, because the vocals don't match The Room at all. The Room has a certain echo and sound, and the sound studio does not. And tiny things like that causes dubbing to be funny. It's like a dubbed genre type comedy scenario is what Tommy accidentally invented. Tim and Eric, if you notice on their shows, they dub a lot, very similarly. And they almost admitted that they were inspired by Tommy when they asked Tommy to guest direct an episode of Tim and Eric Awesome Show. So enough of that, but I am going to release that investigation which focused on how did Tommy get his money. It didn't focus on where he came from, although I do touch upon that a little bit. And Tommy Wiseau did admit recently on the Jimmy Kimmel program that he is from Europe. Man, he won't even admit what country he's from. He says Europe. But as James Franco said, that's the first time he's ever even admitted he's from Europe. James Franco's like, I thought you were an all-around American guy. Because that's what he is. He's a legal U.S. citizen. There's no reason to say anything other than that. But he always used a New Orleans accent as the excuse when clearly it's not a New Orleans accent. But my investigation focused on where did he get the money? And it resulted in, does he still have money? He put $7 million into the movie The Room. I believe The Disaster Artist, which I'm going to watch next weekend. I wanted to watch it this weekend, but my theater does not have it on the 1st. My local theater has it on the 8th, next weekend. But I am releasing my Tommy Wiseau investigation this weekend, and I'm going to be releasing a documentary this weekend of, yes, compiled compilations of older videos. But when I make a string of 6 videos with the same title, I always intended on them being a documentary style video from the start. I always intended on that being the case. I would say the first documentary I ever made might have been The Real John Teeter, but it was more Smoking Gun Proof. John Teeter is Maury Haber. That's pretty much my first actual documentary because I created that thing in chunks, the same way I do any of my video series. But the only difference between my video series and the Smoking Gun Proof John Teeter's Maury Haber is instead of releasing it in little tiny chunks so I can get maximum ad revenue, I wanted it to be one at the one final release. And I have made a few error corrections and improvements in the Smoking Gun Proof John Teeter's Maury Haber, but at this point I didn't release it because no one's going to want to watch a 2-hour video with a few minor changes and a cooler intro. Speaking of intros, I'm making a new intro for the channel. I know people are like, who cares about the intro? Just cut off the intro, we don't even need one. With these vlog explanation videos, or when I go out and walk around, I understand you don't care about an intro. But if it's a video that I've spent a year working on, 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, even 5 days, a lot of editing, I like the intro, I like the outro, and keywords are against the rules. A lot of people are finding out. And I think the word occult might be one of those words that might be considered bad. I'm coming up with a new show name. I don't have it dead set yet. I literally have like 5 names and 5 .coms I've registered over the past couple years as backups just in case. Because I never do a show name unless I have the .com accepting Hoax Hunter. Not a big deal. Some guy wanted to get every single name and word on the history of the planet, hunter.com, and he got it. I guess he saw House Hunters, and he's like, you know what? House Hunters. I'm going to register everythinghunter.com. And that's what he did. Congratulations to him, but I have no interest in getting it. No big deal. But I have gotten I'm not a scout who grabs .coms for the money, but people that do that, I have nothing against them. I don't consider them anything other than legitimate businessmen. It's kind of like a stock for poor people. With the certain level .coms, but you get up in the single, double, triple, quadruple digits. I had my initials .com for 10 years or so, because I wanted my initials.com, and I grabbed it. Luckily, I have 4 initials. I'm not going to reveal that here, but I put it on my business cards. I was like, yeah. And I never used them and never passed them out. But I got an offer from China. They wanted that. They wanted it. And I was like, no. I got another offer, another offer, another offer. It's like, fine, I'll sell it. That's a decent offer. Okay. Because I held on to it for 10 years. Now that I'm doing the math, I think it was more than that. I was like, I want at least $100 per year. I didn't get $1,000, but I got half that. I got $500, and this was literally a year ago. I sold myinitials.com for $500 to China through escrow.com, and it was 100% fair. So if you have any sketchy deals, you're not sure, escrow.com. I'm not advertising it. I only used it once, but it worked. They said they pay the fees. I got a check for $500 cash. They could have put it in my bank account. I think I asked for a check. Anyway, we're talking 1 week later. I got an offer from a different Chinese group for $1,000. And I was like, I don't own it anymore. My gosh. So yeah, China are over the top buying every single 4-digit, 4-letter, specifically 4letters.com. At this point, they already have them all. They saw that I had one, they wanted it. Way off the topic, I do buy .coms because it's the ghetto way of copywriting and trademarking a word. If you want to copyright and trademark a word, and you go through the U.S. Patent Office, you go through the Copyright Office, and you pay the government $500, and you pay a lawyer $200, and you go through all these fees, and it's like $1,000 by the time you get it. Or maybe you can find some cheap website that'll do it for $279.99. It's way cheaper just to get the .com, unless someone already has it. In which case, if someone already has it, there's no point getting the copyright and trademark. There's no point whatsoever. That person, even in court, they can prove they've been using it professionally or even semi-professionally, business-wise, longer than you have. And even in court, after you register all these, you can't stop them from using the name. .coms are very powerful when it comes to a name. But I have snagged a couple here and there. I snagged cornersofrooms.com because that's the name of my book coming out in the future. I'll just use it as a, here's the book overview. I will tweet it. I don't use Facebook too often. I might have to revamp my Facebook. I don't use Facebook whatsoever. This video is a rambling mess, but documentary and Tommy Wiseau this weekend. Whew, Vikings just came out. The TV show, new episode tonight or last night. And I'm disappointed in the first 10 seconds, and I'll ruin it for you. It's not a big deal. You saw it last season. Sigurd got a spear in the stomach from Ivar the Boneless. It's not Sigurd nothing. It's Sigurd Snake in the Eye Ragnarsson. Super cool name. Coolest name of all the sons of Ragnar. And he was born with a snake in his eye. Not any snake, but the Ouroboros, the magic snake. And I think the History Channel mixed Ivar and Sigurd up, because I believe when Ivar was born, not only did he have boneless limbs, legs, but he had something in his eye, they totally changed it. It wasn't a snake. And then later they added Sigurd out of nowhere, and then they killed Sigurd. It's almost as if the writers know nothing about Sigurd whatsoever. But I happen to be a blood ancestor. He's my blood ancestor. I happen to be a blood relative of Sigurd Snake in the Eye Ragnarsson. How do I know that? Because thousands of people have done the research for me. I went on the genealogy dot whatever, ancestry dot. It's not the DNA test, but it is the actual linking of your great-grandfather to all these people, and it goes back. I can't remember if he's my 25th great-grandfather, 26th, 27th, 28th. Let me think. I think he's my 28th. I think Ragnar's my 29th. Something like that. And in that chain, in that link, I found I'm related to at least one or two Knights Templars. No joke. How do I know that? Because they were so stoked at being Knights Templars that they permanently put Knights Templar at the end of their name. I can't remember the names. I'm going to show the proof because I think it's interesting. I'm going to show at least the proof, and I double and quadruple checked if I'm related to this guy. I tried it through different things. When you click on your grandmother, I'm not related. But when I clicked on my grandfather, I am. I'm related to these people through my grandfather. It's very cool. But I can't remember their name. Something, old-fashioned name. Templar. Templar was in there. And pretty cool. I'm not a Knights Templar. I'm not of any Knights Templar heritage like the Mummy. I don't have any handed down secrets, but I do have secrets that I am going to reveal coming soon. This is such a rant. I apologize for this extreme over the top rant. It's not a rant, but looking forward to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I'm not too convinced by the previews, to be honest. I look at the tiny details. I look at the minute, tiny things that no one else looks at. I noticed in the previews that Luke Skywalker, an old man with a beard, who is basically filling the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Obi-Wan was wise, and Obi-Wan had a, wise, old stance, and his voice was really calm and assuring. And then I hear Luke Skywalker's voice in the preview. old with a beard, a robe and everything, as a Jedi Master, assumingly gonna teach Rey some tricks. And I hear Luke Skywalker go, at least the clip I saw, he's whining like he's a little kid. I don't know what that means. It could be bad direction. It could be a scene totally taken out of context to mess with the fans' minds. Disney is involved, and who knows if it'll be considered. Obviously, the last movie of Princess Leia, General Leia. I'm not that huge into Star Wars, but I prefer Star Wars to Star Trek. And the Force. You know, the Force is real. I could see the future being like Star Wars in the context of people seeing believers in the Force as being crazy. The Force is real. I sense the Force on a regular basis. Not like Yoda did. But I have had a few Yoda moments in my life where I'm like, oh, something happened. And then something did happen. And sensing someone's gonna die, obsessing on that person that's gonna die, and they die. I'm making a video about a celebrity. I've done too much work to not finish it. And then I got to the point where I'm like, why am I making this video? I don't know. Makes no sense. I'm gonna release it anyway with the disclaimer, I don't know why I'm making this video. Other than the last time I worked this hard on some random celebrity, they died a month later. So perhaps I'm supposed to be making it. I don't know. It's gone way too long. How long has this